So let's talk about using the different shaders Maya has in the program. Right, for those of you with your train up, you can like leave your train there and you can work on it. In my case, I'll just work off whatever I build. So for now, when you get like your train ready, and for now your train should be like a bunch of like parts that have different, well, a bunch of different parts that have the same gray color, correct? All right. Now, just pay attention to the screen for a bit, and I'll teach you about the three major materials that that Maya has for you to use in for you to use in creating the different textures or colors. Right. Any case. So what you're seeing right now is the default. Maya will create a shader by default for your materials and for your objects. By default, the material, if you look here, is a lambda, right? Okay, hold on. What the? Right. Okay. Mysterious mouse movement, not from me. Any case, let's see. Right. No. By default, Maya will create will create a material every time you make a new object. All right, which is the lambda. Now, to get to view this, you need to select, if you're on the side here. All right. You need to select here on the side attribute editor. If you don't have it, it should be this one of these. Yeah, this one. It should be this button here. So everyone got that? Right. Yeah. Hold on. Okay, that's better. Let's go for that. Okay. So selecting an object and scrolling through the different sections here, you come across this thing called Lambert1, which all of your objects should have. Now, say I want this shiny, all right? Lambert being the default sort of material, I want this to have a shiny look. Now, to do that, right, you can go to your window, to your rendering editors, and to your hypershade. So it's from here, window, rendering editors, hypershade. When you select hypershade, you should come across a box like this. All right. Now here you can see Lambert and Lambert, bling, Lambert, and Fong. These three materials are the one we're going to concentrate on. So if you are, pay attention, and also go ahead and follow suit, because it's quite important. I would like you guys to create 3 new materials by clicking on the blend button, the Lambert button, and the Fong button. All right, it shouldn't take you more than a minute. So to find the hypershade, remember it's window, rendering editors, and hypershade. Okay, once you've done that, you should have these materials created. Blend 1, Lambert 2 being the new Lambert, Lambert 1 being the default. By the way, whenever you work in Maya, you don't mess about with the Lambert 1. That's the default material Maya will use for creation of new objects, of new polygons or new surfaces. If you mess about with Lambert 1, you mess about with how they look. Generally, it's a good idea not to play around with Lambert 1. So we just ignore it. So it's Blend 1, Lambert 2, and Fong 1. Now, here we want to go for Blend 1. So you select Blend 1 and you have the attribute editor open. you can see we have all these lovely buttons we can press. All right. Now to assign a material to an object, all right, you need to. There are two ways. So you have a quick look. There are two ways you can do this. One, you can middle mouse button. You can middle mouse button onto the hypershade. You click and hold. You click hold, and release it on the object you want. All right. So not much there. So also you can also change the color here, which I will do, just to have a visual difference. And to change color, I just double clicked here and press that. Press save. Don't press save. Done. Press done. Jeez, that was hidden. Right. So with that red, middle mouse button move. So that changed color. The other way of changing the material of an object is to select the object first, hold right mouse button, and go down to assign existing material. We choose assign existing material because we have already created the material for the object, which is blend 1. All right. So would you guys like to try that? Go ahead and put a blend on put a blend onto the body of your train. Right. Okay, for now we shall go about playing with the. Let's play around with these sort of settings to give you a better understanding of what they do. Now, important thing you should take note of in the blend material is the eccentricity and the specular roll-off, along with reflectivity. Now, what reflectivity does, it basically reflects objects that's next to it. You won't see it here, but when the scene is rendered, right? What reflectivity will do, if you have this all the way to 1, it will act like a de facto mirror. It will just reflect whatever is around it. The surface will be like a mirror. If you have it all the way to 0, it won't reflect anything at all. By default, most objects, like you can see, for example, here, if you look at an iPhone, right? You look at the sort of glass material here, right? It will reflect a little. It reflects quite a lot, right? It reflects quite a lot. So normally with this, right, you would say maybe put the reflection, bump it up to like 0.7. Maybe not 1, because when it's 1, right, it's basically a mirror. This is not so much a mirror as it's a reflective surface. So the value would be somewhere between 5 and 1, something. That's general. That's a general sense. Like 1, if your reflectivity is 1, it'll be like a mirror. If it's 0, it'll be like one of these. They don't really reflect anything, you know. It's just like a matte surface. Now, okay, the other thing is like playing around with both eccentricity and the specular roll-off, along with the reflectivity, we can get different materials. We can get sharp metallic feel to the object, or a more plastic feel. Now, if you play around with the eccentricity, you can see in the sample the effects. All right. So eccentricity, it's what's the best way to describe it? Eccentricity is the how glossy the object is, I suppose, in a sense. You can see here, right? You can see here, playing around with eccentricity does affect the object here. Gives it a more metallic finish, the higher the eccentricity is. The specular is more like the reflected light on the object, like how sharp the light is here. If you look closely up here, if I were to drop down the specular roll-off, the light becomes more like a pinpoint. It's very sharp, sort of like sharp light sharp light representation on the skin of the material. Whereas if I push the specular roll-off quite high, it becomes a bit more, the light becomes more of a factor when it's shown in the skin, sort of thing. So any case, let's see, play around with that, play around with reflectivity. Now the thing is, you won't see it here, right? You won't see the effects of what you've done here. However, if you like to press this button here, you get to see the a quick result. This is a very quick look at what you've done. It gives this is what your train will look like when effectively rendered, when finished and ready to be sent to After Effects or something like that. Now, again, right, that there'll be more settings I have to teach you to properly use this function, but for now, it's all right just to sort of like have a look what it will look like. Not much you can do. I'm just thinking, yeah, you could always pop in a light from create here. Create light, just put an ambient light very quickly and push that in, and you get this sense of light. And let's see if I can get reflection here. If I push up the reflectivity, I may have to. Yeah, that's too much trouble at this point to teach you. Okay, for now, right? I would like you guys to play around with the blend material. Just go ahead and assign that to the various parts of your train. Yeah, for Lombe I want blue, and for Fong, let's go with green. All right. Well, whatever. Choose whatever color you like, and go ahead and assign them to different parts of your train. In my case, I'll just assign them here. Now, this shouldn't take you more than a couple of like minutes, I think. Just go ahead and just remember, if you haven't created the different materials in your hypershade, you just have to click them once, and they appear in the pool here to your right. Now let's see. Yes. All right. Okay, so let's see. If you like to create a floor for your train also, you can do that by clicking down here, clicking the polygon panel, or you go to create polygon primitives and plane, and then you can expand this to create a nice floor. For the floor, I'll give it a blend material of let's see, what color would be nice for this one. You can give it a nice light blue color. Yeah, nice light blue color. Yeah. It's a nice light blue color. Yeah. Okay. Let's assign that to the floor. Okay. So let's take away that light for now. We don't need that. Right. Once you're done, assigning the different parts of your train, the different materials, right? We're going to edit this render settings as to make it look nice. Now, there was a reason why I said earlier it might be a little bit, well, troublesome. It's because, let's see. All right, you guys like to look at the screen for a bit. Doesn't matter. You guys can go ahead and finish your train in a bit. It shouldn't take too long. Now, with earlier when I mentioned the render settings would be a bit troublesome to get through, is because here I had a look. I don't have an option here called Maya Mental Ray. Sorry, Mental Ray. Now, how do you get that option up, the render settings? You click on this button here. See, display render settings. So you click that, you get all these lovely settings you can play around with, and you can choose what to render with. Now, I want to render with a particular option called Mental Ray, but it's not here. If it's not there, right, this is very important, because most really good renders come from using the Mental Ray option. All right, so this is quite important. If you don't have it, and it's quite likely you don't, it's quite likely, I say you might have it, but it's good to know how to get to this option if you don't have it. In any case, so if you don't have it, you have to go to Window again. Remember where you got Hypershade? Through all that is you have to go to Window again, and instead of rendering editors this time, you go down to Settings and Preference, right? So there's two things you learned today: Windows, Rendering, and Hypershade. And now Windows, Settings, and Plugin Manager. This is very important, by the way. This Plugin Manager is important to know this, because this is where you go to activate Mental Ray. Now here, if you click Plugin Manager, you come with this window of options. You can scroll all the way down and look for this particular option, Mental Ray for Maya 2014 plugins. As you can see here, it's not loaded, nor is auto-loaded. I would select that, wait for it, and then select that. So they're both checked in. And once you checked it, you can close it, because it's loaded in the render settings now. All right. So go ahead and activate Mental Ray. I'll give you time to do this because it's quite important. Yeah, that was bad. So, in any case, once you set Mental Ray on and switch your render settings to Mental Ray, don't forget to scroll down to Render Options under the Common tab and uncheck Enable Default Light. Now, okay, we can put this aside for now. You can minimize it or close it, doesn't matter. Now, what this does is that if you press this render button, you should get a black screen. Well, that's what I expected anyway. I deleted the light I created. Now, this is going to be quite important. So these steps are quite important. So if you like to follow me as I teach you, please do so. This is learning step by step here also, and also paying attention. Now, to have lights in the scene, to have lighting in the scene, we need to create lights. You can create lights by holding down your space bar to get this menu, or you can do what I did earlier and go to Create and go to Lights here. You can have all the different options there. This is an extra function that if you hold down space bar, you can have this pop up, and it's a bit of a quick way to go to the Create, and you can create from here. Although if you're not comfortable with that, you can always go to Create here. You go to Lights, you get all these different lights. All right. So let's see. For default, to start with, I'm going to create an ambient light. All right. Like once you create an ambient light, you can move it like any other object. You see, the ambient light is represented by this little dot here. So I can move it like any normal object, right? Now, what does this do? If we were to go in a bit closer and to render this, we get this sort of result. And this is where playing around with the blend comes in handy. This is where most of your testing comes in. What result you want from it. This floor, for example, looks like a very polished piece of metal. Maybe glass, but that's like opaque glass perhaps. In any case, that's one thing, right? And what else should you know first? You should know that you can choose different lights, but the different lights will have their different properties. Like ambient light is more like a point light that, okay, how ambient light works all right, is basically this point in space that you're moving around that that shines light everywhere around it. Like if I were to put the ambient light behind this object here, so it's behind this red block like this, what I should get is like this red block should be blocking the light. Oh, actually no, I'm not mistaken. Well, we'll see. I don't think it works like a spotlight, but as you can see, right, you get a darker feel here. This darkness may be a result of me pushing the ambient light too close to the object, maybe like cutting the object. Hence why you get that weird darkness there. Yeah, this is what I kind of expected because of the light being blocked by the object. In any case, know that the ambient light acts as a point light that shines light everywhere, and that can be blocked by objects. Now, what else? From here, right, when you create the other lights, you can always change the light type under the attribute editor. Yes, under attribute editor, you can always change the type of light that you have. Now, I'm going to change it to spotlight. Spotlight acts like as you can see here, a lamp. Is effectively a lamp head. So you can from here you can sort of like adjust the rotation, and that affects how the light is shined. And also the light is also shown. If you can see here, the light is like effectively a spotlight that shines down light in only that direction. You can soften this using the various. You can soften the effect of the light. This is quite harsh. You can see it's quite sharp. There are options you can adjust to give it a more softer feel. But for now, let's concentrate on another option first. Directional light. If you think about think of it as sun rays. Sun rays in the direction of the arrows. All right. That means the light is coming from very far away, and the source of light is coming from very far away, like the sun basically. And for directional light, this gives us a whole sort of illumination. Now it's quite dark. I think because for directional light, it helps if you push several factors on that I don't have right now. That's fine. In any case, the last thing I want to show you is area light. Now, area light is the light I use often, but it's also a very expensive light. Now, what do I mean by expensive? When it comes down to rendering, how people charge for rendering in actual business, right, is the amount of time it will probably take to do to render out the thing. Like for these renders, the moment I press these, they take about like say a couple seconds. It pops out. They're not so taxing on the computer per se. Why is it not doing that? Okay, that's fine. Any case, okay, now with area lights can be quite expensive in a sense. Like it'll take a while for it to load, but it gives a very nice effect, I feel, if you sort of like play around properly with it. That's probably quite close. Intensity is probably quite high. It gives a very nice soft effect that is also, but as I said, it's also very expensive. Like if I were to put in Okay, so right. So for the past, I have no idea how long, maybe 30 minutes, I've been talking like an idiot and not recording my audio. So for you, so for you guys who's going to look back into the video, you probably see my voice cut out at some point, like what the hell is going on? Try to follow closely what's on screen, because I know I really forgot where these microphones don't come with a beeping noise when it comes to low battery or something, which would be very useful. But since they don't, audio was cut off somewhere, and well, never mind. Let's go on. Okay, so once you get your curve set out like this, right? You have to make sure it's closed you have to make sure it's closed by having the two ends of the curve, like touch each other, and that will close the thing. So once you have the curve closed like this, and the you have this sort of like you have this curve that you want to. Okay, I want to have this image here. So you select the curve, go to surfaces in the surface, in the surface tab here. Go to surfaces and go to planar, the box. Here you get to see several options. Now, degree is fine to leave it as is. Curve is fine. Output geometry. Now, we want this polygon because we want to manipulate it, and using all the different tools we learned, like insert edge loop, or maybe tweaking the vertices, for example. In any case, here we are. This is generally this is the settings you will see. Here you probably want it in quads, and the tessellation method, I guess you could. What I do is I put down to count, maybe just bump it up to 500 perhaps. See what happens. This is what happens. You get this sort of like flat plane that is created from the settings here. So from the settings, like polygons, I went to quads, I went to count, pushed it up to 500. I got this thing. So yeah, that comes out as that. So had my curve been in the shape of Batman, I would have already had a Batman shape, So for this one, what I could do, I could set a new material, put a blend, and put a blend. Where's my blend? Take the color, take this dip here and put it there. There you go. So yeah, I got the Batman logo background. So what I could do is like I could have duplicated that, increase the size. Hold on. Yeah, here. I could duplicate it and just increase the size. About there. Oh god, this is actually it'll be easier to edit using the curves for the outer edge, because it fits the inside edge, but the outer one it doesn't. I mean, as a shortcut, just to show you guys, I could just have this here, could insert a new material, another blend. This time will be the black. There you go. So yeah, that's what it would look like. And then like in the final one, I could have it like the two plates like that, have the Batman symbol come in. But in any case, the point is, right, from here, maybe perhaps I think it's usually best, right, we add a bit of thickness. Do you remember this? You remember the particular tool to add thickness? Yes, that's excellent. That's a very good answer. Well, this is the only answer. You extrude. Yes. So you go down. You can either go down to the polygon tab and press this button, or you could go to here, move it to polygons, go to edit mesh, extrude. Once you extrude, probably a good habit in this case, in this instance, to maybe click that to change it to whirl. This is currently in local. Change it to whirl and just drag it up. There you go. So you got this little thing with thickness now. Yeah. You can do the same for the bottom. There you go. And from there you can play. But from there you can start creating the model. You remember what I taught you also in the case of like snapping the vertex? Like I want this to lie directly on top. So what you could do is that you press D to manipulate the axis, if you remember that, and you hold down V. Having selected the y-axis, hold down V, middle mouse button, the bottom vertex. So this is directly on the bottom part of this object. Then from here you can select this y-axis, hold down V, and snap it there. So that should be exactly on the base basically, as you can see. And then from there you get the Batman. So this is just a simple example of using this particular thing. This is very important, this texture thing. If you get it wrong here, then you will get the proportions for your curves wrong. And yeah, that's something that you keep in mind. Now, I'd like you guys to definitely do this. This is definitely your homework, and technically your a graded assignment, if you like. You will have let's see, next week, the week after, you have 2-3 weeks to finish this. This is due, I believe, the week starting 14 March, which is, oh, good point. Oh, fuck, yeah. No, someone's badgering me about something now. So, 14 March. This is due on the 17th March, right? Your logo will be due 17 March. So when doing your logo, don't delete anything, right? I mean, like all these, when you finish using them, you can always put it aside. Right. That's something I should teach you also. All these curves, you can put it aside. So you don't need them. I'll show you why that happens. And this, if you don't need this, just move it aside. Don't worry about it. I mean, this is just for me this is just to show me that you used it, and for me to just see how well you how well you did, sort of thing. What else? Okay, several things that I should teach you before you continue on. Like, do you notice when I click on the curves that I don't want the curve, right? I move it here, or say I don't want the curve, I delete it. Don't delete curves, by the way. Just don't, all right? Because I want to see them. I want to see how you guys do. For here, like, notice that when you move the curve, this thing moves also. That's because if you remember that we used this curve to create a plane, right? And that plane we extruded, and that was the yellow. We duplicated that to create the black. Now, the black didn't move because it's a duplicate of this object. This object was created using a plane that was created from this curve, right? And using that plane was created using information and data from the curve. And that's why it's kind of linked that way. To unlink it, you select that object, you go down to File, you go down to Edit, and you select Delete by Type History. Now once you do that, it won't follow the curve. In fact, right, it's actually a good practice to go through, once you finish modeling your stuff, it's usually a good practice to go through your different models. You go to Edit, Delete by Type History. You hear me here? Delete by Type History. Notice that once you delete by Type History, right, this is cleaner. Look at that. You only got 3 tabs. Compared to this, you got, I don't know how many tabs, right? So once you do Edit, Delete by Type History, boom. It not only becomes cleaner, it just lightens the calculation Maya has to do when it comes to rendering or when it comes to moving. So yeah. Several other things. Well, you don't need to know freeze transformation, I don't think. Not now. Freeze transformation is useful later on. For now, I think perhaps keep these steps in mind, and also refer to this video when possible, because of course it's got all these things. If you need a refresher, go ahead and play the video to the part where you need to remember sort of things.
Where can we get the video?
It's inside here. I'll show you the file. Yeah, exactly. You can copy it to your pen drive. There's no, you can find the videos under just a quick reminder, you can find the videos. This week's video will have to be rendered. So when you leave, it will probably still be rendering, unless you want to stay until like 6 or 6:30. Exactly. So you have to maybe come a different time, maybe tomorrow or whenever you are free. Quickly come here, copy, go away. So in any case, to find the files, you go to your L drive. There's Autodesk, Students, 2016 Sem 1, Wednesday PM, course materials, video captures. Here you have the previous 3 weeks of data. Yeah, this is good if you need to catch up also with if you missed a week, you can come and watch. Apologies to anyone watching this now about the silence. I don't know how long silence it was the video, just talking to people who will be watching this now, later, whatever. Yeah, so that is the part of how to build the logo. Of course, I would like for you to also deal with creating words, like creation of words, like in your logos. Like what do you call it? Let's go to your folders again very quickly. Right, like for example here, I believe. Yeah, yours has Puma. I don't think anyone doesn't have words, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, I think yours is Vans. That's a big word thing. Yeah, I believe the only one was Hashim, whose image was that Hylian crest. Just add in the Zelda, and just go from there. Okay. Okay. Oh, right. One more thing, actually, with regards to that logo, right? To this logo, right? This is good information for Hashim, I believe, because you notice this logo has this sort of like, yeah, this sort of indent, right? That sort of thing, right? So to do that, right, I would say for like in my case, in this case, I would go for the edge, select the edge. All right, make sure all the edge is selected. It's quite hard to see actually. Maybe you do it like this, yeah. So yeah, make sure your edges are selected, right? Once you do that, you go down to Edit Mesh, and then you go down to Bevel here. So there's an option down in Edit Mesh called Bevel, right? And here, you can click the options. You can say, okay, for here, you want offset type fractal. Yeah, okay, that's all right. Well, yeah, that's okay. Okay, so width, I guess in this case, it's like experimentation. I would normally go for like a segment of 4 or 5 maybe. Let me go 5. So look carefully at the edges I selected once I hit bevel. You see nothing. Well, okay, let me redo that. Let me increase the width to something that can actually be seen. 1 and 5, yeah. Let's undo that again. Okay, let's have this at 10, 5, boom. All right, do you see that? Do you see it? Yeah. So what bevel does is creates this sort of like smoothing. Now I think for this image, right, for this size, right, I think I may need to go down to 20 and reduce it to 2. Okay, yeah, the reason why it does that is because it's because of triangles like this. So do be careful when you're playing around with bevel, because you can come across like horrible things like this. If you do come across those, maybe play around with the segments a bit more. Oh, that's still horrible. Let's see if it can't, maybe yeah. Sometimes beveling won't work because of certain things like this. So you have to take care. I guess in this case, right, if you want to fix it, you will have to, sorry? Connect, yeah. What I would do, right, is take these, take the face, delete this face, all right? Yeah. So what I would do is take the 2 vertices here. Normally I would, what I would do is I would move this vertex. This is quite hard. Oh, by the way, you find it difficult to, if you find it difficult when scaling, right, you find it not moving the way you want to, you can press F to focus on the thing. That's another thing, right? Pressing F allows you to focus on what you're looking at. So the rotation will be focused on that particular point, if you like. Okay, so where was I? Here, right? So how would I fix this, right? I would take this, move it, snap it using the vertex snap onto that. Same with the bottom one. Ensuring I had deleted that front face because I don't want to have double faces. All right. So now that's there. All right. I'll take this, ensuring that I haven't selected anything else behind it using the X-ray vision. So I didn't. I can go down to Edit Mesh, Merge to Center. Now what that does, right? See this? Previously, I just deleted it and move it on top of each other, right? Now, if I just click that normally, it's connected. See that? It's connected now. It's part of the same thing. So I'm going to do the same here. And now it should be connected. Yeah, there you go. So when you do the beveling for this time, oh wait, okay, yeah, it's a little better, but still wonky. It's you can't help it. It's a result of how this was created, unfortunately. To fix it would require you to. I'm trying to think. It's not easy to fix it. Let's see. Let's try absolute. Yeah, this is just me playing around with the settings at this point, right? So you don't click absolute. Fractal definitely. Maybe local. Is local better? It's not the best. Maybe, but in any case, I think, well, in any case, when creating your Zelda thing, right, do be careful when doing it. And I think in the Zelda's case, right, what you want is maybe segments of 1 or 2, maybe 1 in fact. Yeah, just 1 actually. Look, 1 is all right. 1 has a little bit of wonk here, but it still looks nice-ish. And maybe 1 and boost the width up to 20. Boom. So you get this nice looking feel, right? That's not too dissimilar to the Zelda point here. Look at that. You get this nice bevel. So if you need to add that little curve, right, you can. It's not too difficult if you use bevel, but you do need to make sure, like all the points earlier, like like this bit here. See, there's some issues with this if I use bevel here. So if I were to look at it, and oh god, it's horrid. I'm not sure what happened here. Yeah, your god, my god also. Okay, so if I were to, oh right, okay, so if I were to fix this, it'd be, oh god, move it here. Yeah, something like that, I suppose. There, it's not so bad now. It's just that this comes with, it comes with a caveat. This using bevel comes with a caveat that if you have stuff like this, right, it's not going to really work that well. Normally what I like to do is I like to try to, yeah, what I did earlier, I tried to fix it by deleting the necessary faces. Oh, if you also find yourself like, I want to delete that face down there, it's really hard to work like this, right? The other method is to go to Show, go to Isolate, and go to View Selected. This allows you to just view the object that you want to edit on, and allows you just to view it alone, away from your other bits of models. Now from here, I would do this, and I would do this. Yeah, and I think, what do I do actually? What should I do? I don't think I should do that. Okay, so I should do this. I should do this. Right now, what I'm doing is topology correction. So I'm trying to correct the topology of this this image. I think what I want to do here is I want to move this here also. I want to move this there. Okay. And from here, ensuring I didn't select anything below it, I go here, merge to center, and I do the same for the one below. Yeah. And now I try what I did earlier using, what was it called? Yeah, bevel. So I try applying, it's a little bit better. It's a little bit better. Much cleaner than it was previously anyway. It requires maybe a little bit of editing. Like you compare that to that. So here's most likely I just take the vertex and I just move in a little bit. There you go. Looking better already. So that just some those are just some examples of how to correct your mesh when it comes down to correcting your mesh. This is how several methods you can go about it using the tools I taught you. Yeah. So to get out of the isolation mode, you go to show, isolate select, and uncheck that, and you go back to this mode. Yeah. So I realized this the end bit of today's lesson is quite involved. Do take the time to sort of like go through the processes again, and yeah, just like you've got 3 weeks to come up and clean your logo and stuff. I'll put the reminder up. I'll put a reminder up in the group. And for those who, for your classmates who are not here, it is really, I mean, if you can, grab the copy of the video. Well, I'll try to get the video up now. I mean, once I finish talking, yeah, I'll try to render it. And if you can get this video and share with your classmates, it will help them to catch up for next week, where there won't be a lesson. And you guys will, feel free to ask me anything with regards. I will try to help insofar as I can. If you want to meet face to face, like you want to have extra classes, I am open to those. Try to schedule them for the weekend though, because I'm more free then. If you require extra class, try to not individually ask for them, but ask around who wants to have extra classes. Get you guys come together, and I will give you guys a class as an extra class. We'll try to catch up some more that way if you want. If you feel like you're okay, then I will. If you any help, you just ask me on the chat or email me if you want. I believe you have my email. Do you? You don't have my email. I'll put up my email in the group actually. Yeah, that's something I should do. What else? I think you guys got most of the. You guys got most of the options down. There are several that I think we can leave for a different time. But for now, I think you should be fine. You should have enough to go on and to create your logo in 3D. So with that, wait, actually, is there any questions from anyone like to ask before I officially stop today's lesson? Sorry? All right. Is there any questions you'd like to ask?
From the top view, how do you make the logo appear instead of just the line?
Yep. So from the top view, this is probably what you see, right? Remember that these options here manipulate the viewpoint and what you see. So it's this button here, Smooth Shade All, that pops the image up effectively, right? Once more, that's wireframe mode, Smooth Shade All, Smooth Shade plus wireframe. All right. Now you don't see any low texture here because I switched that off. To have textures on, you need to select the textures, right? All right, so that's that question answered hopefully, right? Okay, so is there any other questions? No more questions? Okay, so I will end today's lesson with this note. and oh no, you can no, like hold on. All right, and